The reward was waiting for him. A small pouch, nothing more. Jorgrim stepped toward the contract board. The official looked at him for a moment before pulling a parchment free. Black Retreat, Undead. Jorgrim read it once, folded it, tucked it into his belt. The job was accepted before the ink had fully dried. He turned and left without another word. They made camp near Black Retreat, close enough to reach the ruins by morning. The fire burned low. Jorgrim ate in silence while checking his gear. Leif reviewed the next contract. Leif reminded him that the dead were slow. There would be time to think. Jorgrim listened. The Bastion had already taught him that surviving was not always about enduring more. Sometimes it was about wasting less. The night passed quietly. Before leaving, he listened to Leif's final observations about the enemies waiting in Black Retreat. Short advice, nothing more. With his axes secured at his sides, Jorgrim left the camp and headed toward Black Retreat. Jorgrim had barely entered Black Retreat when the first undead emerged from the ruins. 2 ghouls, rats. His axes were already in his hands as the creatures closed the distance. Leif's advice lingered in his thoughts. The dead were slow. They gave him time. Jorgrim intended to use that advantage, but in his own way. Whispers drifted through the halls, faint voices with no visible source. But the dead could whisper whatever they wanted. He had not come to listen. He tightened his grip on his axes and continued deeper into the ruins. Jorgrim was beginning to understand something. His strength did not come from a single swing. Not anymore. Every fight was a process. Every movement prepared the next one. A block, a step, a counterattack. Each decision built toward the moment when the Berserker within him awakened. The rage was useful. The pain was useful. Even exhaustion had its place, but only if they served him. The more battles he fought, the clearer it became. Those things were weapons, not answers, and weapons required control. Leif had been right about one thing. Experience alone was not enough. To survive what lay ahead, Jorgrim would need more than axes and endurance. He would need tools. Ways to shape the battle before it shaped him. Otherwise, one day, the same rage that gave him strength would become the thing that buried him. That had become Jorgrim's mindset. The Berserker was powerful, but power alone was no longer enough. With every contract, he found small gaps in his style, things axes could not solve on their own. Until he found better answers, he relied on whatever tools were available. A hunter's net, a flask of oil, anything that could slow an enemy down or disrupt their rhythm. Not to avoid the fight, to control it. To make sure the battle unfolded on his terms whenever possible. The less punishment he had to endure getting there, the more devastating he could be when the moment finally came. Jorgrim found a brief moment of calm. He gathered what was useful and left the rest behind. The routine helped, It gave his hands something to do while his mind stayed focused on what lay ahead. The ruins were not finished with him yet. He could feel it. Something waited deeper inside. The undead, the whispers. None of it felt random. Jorgrim checked his gear one more time and continued forward. The hardest fight in Black Retreat was still ahead, and he knew it. And then it happened. The fight came sooner than Jorgrim expected. There was no time to stop and think. So he thought while moving. The enemy would decide when the battle began. Jorgrim would decide how it was fought. With the battle over, he began gathering whatever was worth taking. Only then did he unfold the contract once more. His eyes moved across the parchment, then stopped. The job was not finished. Killing the leader had only been part of it. The altar still had to be cleansed with a relic. The ruins still had one last task waiting for him. He secured the loot, folded the contract, and changed course. No wandering undead, only whispers and the altar remained. Jorgrim advanced carefully through the ruins. The relic rested securely in his pack. Whatever this ritual awakened, he was ready for it. He had not come this far to turn back now. Reaching the altar, he removed the relic and placed it upon the ancient stone. The final fight ended. The altar was cleansed. Black retreat was finally behind him. All that remained was the road back to camp, a warm meal, and the reward waiting at the end of the contract. Another job completed, another step forward. Rotten Willow had proven more dangerous than Manshire, but it was also teaching him more. With every contract, Jorgrim felt his style becoming sharper, more deliberate, more controlled. Leif's lessons were helping, the experience was helping, and the results were becoming harder to ignore. Jorgrim left the ruins behind and started the journey back. There would be time to rest, then it would be time for the next contract. The next contract was already waiting. Bloodsuckers. Not now, not today, but soon.